Hey, it's Deep Focus. I'm your host, Mitch Goldman. This is part 2 of 3 parts from September 4th, 2023. My guest is Craig Harris. Our topic is the large ensembles of composer, reedman, pianist, avatar, Sam Rivers. And if you haven't heard part 1, I do say you might want to hear that first, but you make your own choice. And here we go. That was music you've never heard unless you were in Torino, Italy, November 20th, 1979. If you were in the room with my guest, Craig Harris, who's on that session on trombone. It's the Sam Rivers Orchestra, and I'll tell you who's on that. It's Sam Rivers, conductor, and playing all the reeds and all that heavy flute, and he's playing piano on this. Trumpets of Malachi Thompson, Jack Walrath, Oliver Beener. Trombones of my guest Craig Harris and Charles Stevens. Reed section, check this out. Chico Freeman, Hamiet Blewett, Steve Coleman, Dwayne Armstrong. You got Richard Purcell on the tuba and Dave Holland with that fantastic bass solo right there. Thurman Barker playing a whole lot of drums. And this is a live recording, obviously, and it is not commercially available. It's something from the WKCR archives. We're very fortunate to be able to present. I assume it was the Italian radio that recorded it and made it possible for it to arrive in our archives for your musical delectation. And even better, coming up, as we say this, we're in New York City, September 4th here. I don't know if you're hearing this in some other pathway, but Friday, September 22nd in this year of 2023, this music is going to be honored and recreated at Mount Morris Ascension Presbyterian Church, Friday, September 22 at 7 p.m. That's in Harlem at 15 Mount Morris Park West at 122nd Street. And Craig Harris, you're going to be there, and you got an incredible ensemble of musicians coming together to make this happen.
Yes, we do. Mitch, we're so grateful to be here. And like we do have, Joseph Daly, who spent a lot of time with Sam in small groups, and Steve Coleman, we all three of us got together and we said we want this to happen. And we reached out to our colleagues in the community, musicians, and they really graced us and said they would come and do this because they understand how important Sam was. And the musicians are Steve Coleman's going to play saxophone, then Lee Odom, Ravi Coltrane, Roman Filou, James Carter. Trumpets are Jonathan Finlayson, Eddie Allen, Ralph Alessi, Nathan Eklund. Trombones, Ray Anderson, Craig Harris. Euphonium, Joseph Daly. Bob Stewart on tuba. Bass, Doug Matthews. Drums, Tony Lewis. And guitar, David Gilmour. And to really, when I go back to Doug Matthews is a bassist. And he was in, Sam moved to Orlando, Florida. And they said, why did you move to Orlando? Because there were a lot of musicians down there that worked with Disneyland, and they were working there. And they said there's a lot of musicians there. And Sam was ready for a change in his life, so he moved to Orlando, and he had a group of musicians down there in Orlando, and he formed Orlando Rivby. And they played every Wednesday night in the latter part of his life. They played everything. And Doug Matthews has also been a big part of this thing because he helped us the thing was compiling and getting all this music together. And so Doug is going to come up here and play with us from Florida. And it's just, it's a wealth of information, with Sam Rivers for us because when I'm listening to this music, and we're going to listen to something else that you're going to talk about, Sam had a long line of musicians that were working on his music, and I really want to give credit to people like Hamiet Blewett, John Stubberfield, who was that? Bob Stewart, who was that? Bill Cody, Jabbo Ware, Ted Daniels, Charles Stevens, Oliver Beener, Warren Smith, who else am I missing? Somebody? Dave Holland, Barry Ashler. I'm missing somebody else. Who was that I'm missing? Boom, 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 boom. Was there from the beginning. A lot of these people were there from the beginning. Joe Daly. They were, when Sam, in Harlem and in early Rivby, they were there rehearsing that music. And those were the musicians I would come and see rehearse that music. And in fact, on the early recording of the big band Crystals, Sam, Matt, he lists 62 musicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, all the people, and that's how gracious it was, because all these people had come and put some time in playing this music to make it happen. So I know that was a producer's nightmare. How many names? It was 62 musicians' names. Now only 14 or 15 played on the recording, but Sam just was saying, acknowledging all these great people that played.
Not everybody does that.
Yeah.
Doing the right thing. I'm curious on this. So you guys were obviously in Torino in November of '79. Was that a tour? Did you guys? That's a lot of people to move around.
Yeah, we were on a tour. It was maybe, I think we were out for a week or two, and we had a couple of concerts. I know we had some concerts in France, and we come to New York. We rehearse, and then we get on the plane and go and do it, and it's where the music really happens, when you play it night after night after night after night. You grow into the rhythms, you grow into the music. It needs to be. It's like it's marinated and it's done that way, and especially with Sam's music, because Sam Rivers always wanted to write. He wrote for big band. He said for colleges and stuff. He said 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, 5 saxophones, piano, bass, and drums. And this would be good for colleges to play this music. He was very practical and very concise about it. And he wrote this music. But the piece you hear, like you heard that, like we hear like this. He had a 4/4, wrote everything in 4/4. Boom, 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 boom. But inside of that 4/4, he would just juxtapose all kinds of different rhythms. Like there's a 5 going on there sometimes, a 3, a 7. And I remember we used to play this music. I'd say, well, I'm counting 4, but something's going on, and I don't know what it was. Then all of a sudden, boom, and back on the 1. And that's the really beautiful part of his music. Because when you look at it, okay, it's in 4/4, it's moving at this tempo. Oh, it's right there. And then when you get in there, you say, uh-oh, what's going on here? There's so much inner working, inner voice working going on in that music. There's a lot of it.
To you, on the bandstand, it's a 7/4, it's inner workings. To us listening, and I can only imagine what it would have been like to be in the hall and hear this band, it's just such a rich sound. It's so, there is just more emerging from that stage than you can even wrap your ears and your mind around.
Yeah, and I would watch people, and he had a nice thing there. Like I said, his music is at the archive at the University of Pittsburgh. His archive is there. You should contact them. You should support them, so they can take care of that beautiful music that he left behind. They let us use the music, the librarian there, and even they're in their infant stages, and they just said they realized how important this was, So Joe was talking to them a lot. We have Aaron Johnson. He's on the faculty out there. I'm sure he helped us out, like, to make that thing happen. And Steve, I laugh because Steve Coleman is. He was going to be conducting, so he was looking at the scores, and he was telling me how, he said, man, this thing is detailed to, like, the infant. He said everything is, like, infinite. It's just detailed to the joint. I said, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. And come out on, we have organization. We've been doing concerts now. We'll be 10 years next year. January.
Fantastic.
We call the Harlem Jazz Series, and we do concerts every Monday night from April till the end of the month. This week, I might as well just, Marty Ehrlich's coming in there with a nice group this Friday night. He's coming in this Friday night with a beautiful group. Then on the 15th, I'm coming in with a group called Bluocracy with 12 musicians and a poet and a voice, and we're talking about the political climate of the world today, this authoritarian movement that we're in. And we're going to do the Bluocracy there at it's the Bluocracy. And that's built on that the American concept of democracy, the whole American thing has been built on a blues aesthetic coming out of Amiri Baraka. And I'll be a band with, like, let me see, Tony Lewis is playing drums, Ricky Rodriguez is playing bass, Henry Hyra is playing keyboards, Franz Hackel and Eddie Allen are playing trumpets. I'm playing trombone. Jordan Young's playing alto saxophone. Frank Vason is playing baritone saxophone. Milton Suggs is vocalist, and Naomi Extra is a poet. So we're doing a project there, and that's just warming up for the project. And the next week we're going to be in with the Sam Rivers tribute, and then we close out the month with Reggie Workman was doing a big project on the 29th. So go to our website, Harlem Jazz Box, spelt with 2 X's.com.
Harlem Jazz Box, 2 X's. HarlemJazzBoxX.com.
No, Harlem Jazz Box.
2 X's.
Yeah.
Yes.
BOXX.
BOXX.com.
And you can reach us. Also, you can get, I'm telling everybody, the church is a beautiful place. We've been doing it for a year, but it's 350 seats there. So if you come into these concerts, you need to buy your tickets online. You can get them at HarlemJazzBox.com. You can go to, what's the other one? There's a couple. Just go call and contact them. I'm forgetting that platform, the biggest platform for people buy it all the time. It'll come to me on the next break. It'll come to me.
Let me ask you, we got people, maybe somebody's listening to this saying and getting excited hearing this music, but if they haven't been in the room with 15 musicians all pulling in the same direction, and the way that sound fills that space and your body starts vibrating with that, maybe can you talk a little bit about that and just, I don't know, maybe it's beyond language, but that feeling, because speakers can't really reproduce it.
Right. Is the bell ringing downstairs? Yes, somebody's coming in.
Yeah,
somebody's ringing. Yes. Mitch, a lot of people, especially these days now, a lot of people have not been in the room with live music, period. Okay, and so a small group. But when you're in a room with like 15 musicians, is a sound, and it's not loud, and it's a density that captures you and surrounds you, and you have these interactions between the sections, between the trumpets, between the woodwinds, between the drums. There's an interaction sound. It's a very beautiful thing to be in. You know, it's something for those who have never been in there, because I have friends, younger friends who've never been in a room with more than 3 or 4 musicians. Live music. This is live music, and it's being like created right before your eyes in so many different ways. You know, it's and I guess we're just from that generation that that was common. That just with live musicians all the time. So do come and support it, and it's a beautiful atmosphere in the church, and just come on through.
Yes. Once again, Friday, September 22nd, Mount Morris Ascension Presbyterian Church, 15 Mount Morris Park West at 122nd Street. And Craig, when you come on this show, it's not just a one-night promotion, You stay all the way through. The show goes up on the Deep Focus podcast. People hear it.
Oh, yeah.
I got listeners, 115 countries tuning in. And we also talk about your events for weeks and months and years to come. A couple of weeks ago, in that chair where you are sitting, William Hooker was here, and he was talking about something he was planning, and now it's about to kick off. He was telling us about this Rhythm in the Kitchen festival. And I just want to let the folks know, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's if you heard that show with William, it was, and he's done this a couple of times over past years, and they're bringing it back. It's on 54th Street between 9th and 10th Avenue in Hell's Kitchen, and there's I'll have to come back to you with the website, but all day long, music all day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in this beautiful new place that just popped open in the neighborhood. So things are happening all around you, wherever you are. There's music. You got to get out of. What you got to do is get out of the house.
We just came through that period, and outdoors. Really enjoy the summer. Just really enjoy the summer. Be safe, but music is a healing force. It got me. People don't know how. People talking about breathing. During the COVID, I played didgeridoo. I played my didgeridoo at least every other day, and this thing would just like it was like a healing force for me to get me through. And Mitch, listen, youngsters, we've been around a while, and it's this. We know. Get out there every night and just enjoy that music. Just really enjoy the music.
And
really
it keeps you young. I'm sitting here with Craig. He was playing on this show we're listening to in 1979. Man looks like a teenager sitting here
That's right.
in the studio with me.
Right. Yeah, right. And we got to, and it's like with the beard and all. Me and Rich, and it's just it's really beautiful to be here. And really, I just want people to know now in this political climate, this world, this climate control. Now is the time is to be more active. Be the aggressive progressive now.
Yes.
Now we need you to be more aggressive progressive with an informed edge. Now more so than ever.
And by the way, if you, Craig, you announced the names of the people who are going to be performing on the 22nd. If any of those names were unfamiliar to you, let me just tell you, that's the A-team in New York right now. Those are first call, top shelf musicians. It's going to be quite a night of music. As was what happened in Torino, November 20th, 1979. The show's called Deep Focus, and I should tell you, you're listening to WKCR FM New York, WKCR HD, WKCR.org all around the world, and 89.9 FM here in New York. You can also catch it on the Deep Focus podcast.
Right.
It's on that phone in your pocket right now. You can subscribe, and you'll get a little announcement when this episode gets posted next week, and it'll join hundreds of other episodes, ad-free, free, no subscription, nothing. It just comes right at you, and you can listen anytime you like. So join us on the Deep Focus podcast.
And you know what? This is the beautiful thing about technology. I got it when I didn't remember something, and somebody said Eventbrite. That's it.
Oh, yeah,
that's
sure.
it. Yeah, you can get tickets on Eventbrite. That's the beautiful thing about technology. Thanks, JJ. For Eventbrite. Eventbrite, you can pick out tickets on Eventbrite. You can go to our website, harlemjazzbox.com.
Two X's.
Two X's. Okay.
Eventbrite, B-R-I-T-E.
B-R-I-T-E, okay? And to get tickets. And just support us. But remember, it's going to be, you better get these tickets now because it's a historic event getting wrapped. All our events are, support Harlem Jazz Box in the Harlem Jazz Series.
I'm going to say supporting Harlem Jazz Box is good, but going and filling your heart with music is even better, more important.
Right.
Do it for you.
That's it.
Do it for you. Okay, so we have an embarrassment of riches. We have this live recording from Torino, and we're heading into track number 2, another creative title. And as you said, he just named them by numbers. So anything, I don't know if you had a chance to listen. Anything you want to direct us to our attention or anything?
Well, I want people to know that, it's a spontaneous kind of thing. He's layered everything down. Everything is precise and written down. But the space he allows the musicians to add on to the thing, that's what makes it really happen. And that's in the tradition of what we do, this tradition of transition with the informed edge. We got it, we take it, and then we just forget it and let it do what it's going to do. Just really not to be real, let it go and do what it's going to do. And it's a very beautiful thing.
It's the Sam Rivers Big Band, Torino, Italy, November 20th, 1979. The show's Deep Focus. I'm your host, Mitch Goldman, here with Craig Harris joining me on WKCR. That's Deep Focus from September 4th, 2023. My guest, Craig Harris. We're talking about Sam Rivers. Oh, this is a meaty stew. Some very powerful music. So thankful to Craig Harris for coming up. We recorded this in 2023. If you are hearing an event being promoted that is from after September of that year, disregard these promotional announcements that you're hearing. But by all means, get yourself some Sam Rivers music. These large ensembles in particular, but anything he does is fascinating. It's not the easiest music to find your way into all the time. It's kind of demanding. He's operating at a high level, and he expects you to go there with him. He's not a panderer. Some people are, Dizzy Gillespie, great musician, top shelf. But he also is an entertainer. He's got a gift for, if you brought along your buddy who doesn't really get this music, Dizzy's going to throw something in there that you're going to like. Sam Rivers, maybe he will, maybe he won't. It's not a giveaway. This is, maybe he gets a little esoteric. Anyway, the rewards are just as profound if you find your way in. One person's take on this. You may disagree, which is cool. And let me know if you do. deepfocusnow@gmail.com. Okay, I'll see you over at part 3, September 4th, 2023. Craig Harris on the topic of Sam Rivers, Deep Focus.